This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. So today, I want to talk about the minefield of duncery and division that is Donald Trump's brain and the escalating series of lies that he's telling now that he's finding himself in trouble with polling. But first, before I start, I want to talk about an organization that just started in my home state. Some of you might not know this. My home state of Idaho. It's an organization called Inclusive Idaho. And I want to encourage everybody, if you have an extra $1 or $2 or $5 or $20 or $100, the smallest amount to as much as you can afford, I would encourage you to donate to help this fledgling organization off the ground. Idaho is a wildly white state. I've talked about it many times that I grew up in one of the nation's whitest states, and inside of that state, one of the whitest towns that is in the state. Idaho is about 82% white. About 0.5% of the population is black. And Inclusive Idaho, I'll read from their website, from their mission statement, that inclusivity is the solution to the societal barriers of belonging and advancement for minority groups, women, people with disabilities, refugees, and those with marginalized gender and sexual orientations. We, Inclusive Idaho, aim to create a more inclusive Idaho for all Idahoans through advocacy, education, programs, community events, and political and legislative reforms. So, listen, there's a lot of organizations out there across the country, and they are all worth their salt. Organizations like this, though, are special and different because of the fact that 0.57% of the state is black. 82% of the state is white. When the numbers are that lopsided, organizations such as Inclusive Idaho tend to get left behind and forgotten because, there's only a few people there that really need to be represented. And that is why they need the support the most, because of the fact that they get overlooked. So I'm going to put a link in the description, the top of the description, and every single dollar that you donate goes straight to the organization. There's no administrative costs or anything like that. So if you have a spare $1 or $2 or $5 or whatever, please consider donating to Inclusive Idaho. All right, now on to the topic of the day. Donald Trump on Sunday did an interview with Chris Wallace on Fox News, and there's all kinds of craziness that went on. But there's one thing that I want to talk about, and it's related to when Chris Wallace talked about his poll numbers. Brand new polling data that was just released, actually in the moment was released and given to Donald Trump, that was conducted by Fox News. Friends of Donald Trump, Fox News. And they showed remarkable a difference. There's a lopsided level of support on a national basis. Again, I will reiterate that don't pay attention to national polls because they don't matter. Polls in swing states and because of our electoral college system, they don't matter. It's the state level polls that matter. But watch this moment, and then I'm going to talk about, there's a straight line between when Donald Trump gets panicked relative to the levels of support that he has, especially in his core demographic of crazies, that he starts lashing out and making wild accusations. First, let's watch the moment when Chris Wallace revealed the poll numbers.
Mr. President, you'll be happy to know that Fox News has a new poll out today, and you're going to be the very first person to hear about it. In the national horse race, Joe Biden leads you by 8 points, 49% to 41. That's, I think, 3-4 points slimmer than it was a month ago. And on the issues, people trust Biden more to handle the coronavirus by 17 points, on race relations by 21 points, and even on the economy, they trust Biden more by 1 point. I understand we still have more than 100 days to this election, but at this point, you're losing.
First of all, I'm not losing because those are fake polls. They were fake in 2016, and now they're even more fake. The polls were much worse in 2016. They interviewed 22% Republican. Well, how do you do 22% Republican? You see what's going on. I have other polls that put me leading, and we have polls where I'm leading. I have a poll where we're leading in every swing state, and I don't believe that you're First of all, the Fox polls, whoever does your Fox polls, they're among the worst. They got it all wrong in 2016. They've been wrong on every poll I've ever seen.
I must tell you.
No, I'm just telling you. And let me ask you this. So on the economy, so I've always led on the economy by a lot.
I know, which is why I was
Biden
surprised by
can't
this
put
number.
two sentences together.
Those numbers are, again, they're national, so they don't matter as much, but they are stark. 49-41 nationally. But this is the number that really is quite telling, because people are starting to wake up and realize the lack of leadership we have. The negative leadership that we have related to our current health crisis. 51 Biden would handle the coronavirus problem better than Trump at 34%. That's huge. Race relations, 52% to 31%. And even on the economy, 44% Biden, 43% Trump. Don't pay attention to national polls. That's the first advice, because I don't want people to get lulled into a sense of security that, oh, he's way up, I don't need to go vote. That is not the case. In your individual municipality, in your state, you do need to vote. But Trump claiming that, oh, we've got numbers that show me beating him in every single swing state, that is nonsense. The reason we know that's nonsense is because Donald Trump has fired polling organizations that work for his campaign when they gave him bad news. Donald Trump just he demoted his campaign manager, Brad Pascal, because he was giving him bad news. Donald Trump has to be given good news. That's why he surrounds himself with yes men all the time who do nothing but agree with him. So let's get to some of these crazy claims. Look, we've bared witness to Donald Trump's insanity over the course of the last 3-4 years, even while he was a candidate, claiming that Democrats were coming to round up your guns. That's to cancel the Second Amendment, whatever that even means, to cancel the Second Amendment. But he's going even further now, claiming that if Biden is elected, the religious man, Biden, that religion will be canceled in the United States.
If Joe Biden got in, first of all, he won't call the shots. The people, the radical left people that surround him will call. Religion will be gone, okay? Life, you could forget about that, the whole question of life. Supreme Court.
When you say life, you mean abortion?
Absolutely, 100%. That whole question, which is a very, it's always been a 50-50 thing. It's actually trending a little bit more toward one
when
side.
When you say religion is going to be gone, what does that mean?
Look at what they're doing to the churches. They won't let the churches even open if they want to stand in a field 6 feet apart. We've had churches that wanted to stand in fields 6 feet apart. There has never been an administration that's done so much as I have, from tax cuts to regulation cuts to rebuilding the military to getting choice for the vets. Nobody's done the things I've done.
Anybody except for the most devoted cult members of Donald Trump know that's BS. You can't. We have the freedom of religion in the United States. It is enshrined in the Constitution that Congress shall make no law. So it goes beyond that, though, because he is panicked. With all of the conversations surrounding race relations in this country and the brutality that the police time and time again show against members of the black community, he is now trying to lie and say that Joe Biden is fully for defunding and abolishing the police. Joe Biden recently got together with Bernie Sanders because of Bernie Sanders' delegate count, and they've made a pact to agree to certain policy objectives, about a 100-page document that they've signed together. And in it, Donald Trump claims that the word abolish the police and defund the police, they're all over in it, and that Joe Biden's all for this. Unfortunately, Joe Biden isn't for defunding and abolishing the police as we know them now. He's not. Because Joe Biden is the middle-of-the-road Democrat. He is not a wild leftist like Donald Trump would have you believe. But here is the moment where he gets fact-checked in real time, thankfully, by Chris Wallace, when he tries to lie and say Joe Biden in this document is pro defunding and abolishing the police.
And Biden wants to defund the police.
Sir, he does not.
Look, he signed a charter with Bernie Sanders. I will get that one, just like I was right on the mortality rate. Did you read the charter that he agreed to?
It says nothing about defunding the
police.
police.
Really? It says abolish. It says fund. Let's go.
All right.
Get me the charter, please.
All right.
Chris, you've got to start studying for these.
He says defund the police.
He says defund the police. They talk about abolishing the police. They talk about illegal aliens pouring.
I look forward to seeing.
So let's see what this says here. Prosecution, sanctuary cities, incentivize illegal alien, expand asylum, abolish immigration detention. No,
that's not.
Well, no, we'll find it.
Okay.
This thing is many pages long. End prosecution of illegal border crossers. Support deathly, and these are the worst things.
Sir, I'm not disagreeing with you on any of those. I'm disagreeing about defund police.
The White House never sent us evidence the Bernie Biden platform calls for defunding or abolishing police because there is none. It calls for increased funding for police departments that meet certain standards. Biden has called for redirecting some police funding for related programs like mental health counseling.
So that was real time. We got to see him fact checked. His claims are getting wilder and wilder because he knows he's hanging on by a thread. And then after this interview, the very next day, we got to witness in real time Donald Trump shifting and diverting the message on coronavirus, and largely because of that 34% gulf in the American people believing who would handle this crisis better. We watched Donald Trump go from someone who mocked people wearing masks to putting up a picture of himself and tweeting something stupid. He tweeted, "We are united in our effort to defeat the invisible China virus. And many people say that it is patriotic to wear a face mask when you can't socially distance. There is nobody more patriotic than me, your favorite president." All of the nuttery notwithstanding, a favorite president, most patriotic, he's a patriot, hugging the flag and talking about how patriotic he is. People who it's like tough guys. Someone who's always talking about how tough they are, they're not a tough guy. Someone who's constantly actually vocalizing how patriotic they are, they're probably not. That goes for Donald Trump. So we witnessed in real time, once this polling result was released, Donald Trump completely changed gears. Because at the end of May, I'm going to show you a clip of something that happened in the Rose Garden, where he's questioning Joe Biden wearing a mask and then mocking a reporter for wearing one as well.
Were you meaning to criticize Vice President Biden for wearing a mask yesterday?
No, Biden can wear a mask, but he was standing outside with his wife, perfect conditions, perfect weather. They're inside, they don't wear masks, and so I thought it was very unusual that he had one on. But I thought that was fine. I wasn't criticizing him at all. Why would I ever do a thing like that? And your second question was? I couldn't hear you. Can you take it off because I cannot hear you?
I'll just speak louder, sir.
Oh, okay, good. You want to be politically correct. Go ahead.
No, sir, I just want to wear the mask.
Go ahead.
Yeah, to Jeff Mason of Reuters, a stalwart reporter, that you want to be politically correct, that's why you're wearing a mask. Not at all the fact that we're in the middle of a global pandemic where 140,000 people now in the United States have died because of. It's because you want to be politically correct. How do you go from that at the end of May to, I'm the most patriotic president, your favorite president, wear a mask? Ridiculous. Anyway, I want you to have this information going into November because it is important. It is important to get this information to as many people as you know. It is important to talk to your neighbors, to your friends, to your relatives, to encourage them, forcefully encourage them to get to the polls in November, because the coronavirus isn't going to be gone with Donald Trump. It's going to linger, and we're going to see a second wave in the fall that is likely going to be greater than what we've already experienced. And we're going to need every vote to put ourselves on the right track. Anyway, I would love to know what you think. 714-576-4054, like I've never said the number before. And you can email me, daily@dollemore.com. I'd love to know what you think. Listen, I don't always play every single voicemail on the air. It seems that I rarely do since I'm in a different location and for my home studio. But know that I read every single email. I listen to every single voicemail, and I appreciate your communication. The other thing is, if you are in a position to help support my work here on YouTube, you can go click the little link below there, below the video, to become a channel member. For fewer than $2 a month, you can help support independent media, voices like mine. I've said it before, I'll keep saying it. If I'm not your flavor, find somebody who is. Find somebody who brings you value and support that person. Anyway, I love you guys. I appreciate you. I'll see you next time. Be genuine. Take care of one another.